Tonight, 8 News is looking at what's next in the cases surrounding the in-custody death of Irvo Otieno.
A jury found former Central State Hospital employee Wavie Jones not guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but he was just one of 3 people facing charges. 8 News reporter Sierra Krug was there for Jones's entire trial, and she has details on what's to come.
According to the Virginia courts database, 2 Henrico Sheriff's deputies are still facing charges related to the death of Irvo Otieno. But after what we saw play out in court this past week, Wavie Jones's defense team tells us they suspect yesterday's verdict could change things for the other 2 cases moving forward. The fight for justice continuing, but growing increasingly polarizing. After nearly 4 full days of trial, a jury found Wavie Jones not guilty of involuntary manslaughter. He was one of 3 people charged in relation to the death of Irvo Otieno at Central State Hospital in 2023.
This is, as Sister Caroline said, a great miscarriage of justice.
The injustice is that he was charged at all.
Justice looking different between Otieno's family and defense attorney Doug Ramser. The lawyer calling former Dinwiddie Commonwealth's attorney Ann Baskerville's decision to initially charge 10 people with second-degree murder extreme and drastic.
She rushed to judgment, and they were completely wrong.
A reminder, those charges were dropped for 7 of those people and downgraded to involuntary manslaughter for the remaining 3. Now that Jones has been acquitted, there are just 2 people left to stand trial, while prosecutors are looking at 2 more chances for what they've called justice for the 28-year-old.
My son was in the depths of a mental health crisis. The verdict here today shows us very clearly that those persons that find themselves in a crisis like my son did have no protection.
Ramser sees 2 more innocent people on trial.
Everyone in that room that day in Central State Hospital was trying to help Mr. Otieno. They were there because they wanted to get him medical treatment, not to hurt him.
This past week, the Dinwiddie jury heard from witnesses, including deputies who were initially also charged in Otieno's death. They spoke to the, quote, aggressive state Otieno was in. One Central State worker who had been granted immunity to testify also took the stand. Plus, multiple healthcare professionals who disagreed with the medical examiner. They believed Otieno likely died from a sudden cardiac event rather than asphyxia after several people piled on top of him to restrain him amid a mental health crisis. Ramser tells us the jury reaching a not guilty verdict in less than half an hour gives us a snapshot of what to expect for the 2 remaining trials.
The prosecutor chose to try our case first. She made a strategic decision because they believed, and she said this in court, that their case against our client was the strongest, that they had the best case against our client. This is what happened to the strongest case they had. It should inform something. I hope it will.
I asked the Dinwiddie Commonwealth's attorney about this, and she hasn't answered just yet, but yesterday she released a statement saying her team was disappointed with the verdict, but that because there are additional cases stemming from Otieno's death, it would be, quote, not appropriate for her to comment further. In Chesterfield County, Sierra Krug, 8 News.